Hello, thank you for joining me on the mat today on Yoga with Paige. I am Paige and I am a certified yoga instructor if we have not had the pleasure of practicing together before. And if we have, welcome back. It is good to see you here today. With the yogic holiday celebrating and honoring Lord Ganesha, these next 10 days, it begins, I believe, tomorrow. I thought it would be fitting to go through a little grounding flow where we stay close to the earth. This means no sun salutations, although we do take a few downward facing dogs. So make sure you're a little bit warmed up. We do go through a gentle warm up here together, but it's not a massive warm up. So if this is your first movement of the day, I do recommend pausing this video for just a few moments and kind of waking up your body. But I thought it would be fitting to really work through a nice inner connection yoga practice where we focus on finding our empowerment through strong, powerful poses that really activate our big muscles in the body, but also foster a nice mind-body connection. So like I said, we stay close to the earth. We draw Earth's energy up into our own bodies, helping to transform our mindset and allowing us this time to kind of look back on where we've been, what we've gone through, how many hurdles and obstacles that we have been able to overcome because of our strength and our resilience. So we will be kind of honoring our own obstacles, our own journey, as well as finding and cultivating more resilience and more strength in these postures. So take that, whatever it means to you. Maybe if you want to set an intention for this practice, if this is resonating with you today, then I am super, super excited to get going and move together. No props are necessary for this class, but if you know that you like to practice with a block or maybe a yoga strap to help make some things more accessible, please grab that now. And you might want a little extra padding underneath your mat today. We do kind of rock and roll on the spine a little bit, and I know mine sticks out. So these movements sometimes kind of can put, not pressure on my spine, but the little vertebra that stick out can kind of make them a little sore. So I have my extra large yoga mat underneath my normal mat to help give me a little bit more cushion. You can find a nice discount code for you in the description below if you're interested in owning one of your own. I also recommend grabbing an extra yoga mat to maybe place underneath or something like that to have handy if you want to do the rock and rolls. Otherwise, you can just carefully and gently meet us standing or wherever we are for those positions. So now that we've gotten this introduction, you can find your comfortable spot, begin to set yourself up, and we will meet here together in a nice, easy seat. Making sure that you are settling in today. I invite you to close the eyes for these first few breaths and really just allow yourself this time to come into the practice. Releasing mental tension on your next exhale. Letting go of whatever it is you no longer need. Slightly roll the shoulders back. Sit up nice and tall. Take up your space. Rooting down through the sit bones as we prepare to open up the root chakra, the Muladhara chakra. Nice big inhales in through the nose and out through the nose. Taking about 2 more gentle rounds of breath right here in this moment. Beautiful. Gently blinking the eyes open. Finding a little seated warm-up flow. We're going to reach the arms above the head, palms meet, big breath in. And exhale, take them down to heart center. Pressing the hands together, feel the heat there. One more time, big inhale, reach up. And exhale, bring them back down. Inhale, reach the arms up. This time opening them. And on your exhale, letting the right hand drop as the left shoots overhead. Inhale back to neutral spine, reaching the right arm up. And on this exhale, dropping the left. Reaching back up, big breath in, wiggle those fingertips, shoulders down. And on this next exhale, twist to the right side. The opposite hand comes to the knee. One breath. Reaching back up, inhale, and exhale to the left. Beautiful. Coming back through center, making sure we have enough space in our hips here. Maybe taking the feet out a little bit more, finding some hip circles. So using the hands to grab onto the knees, gently take your body over to the left side, then send the chest forward. As we reach over to the right, woo, I just cracked my back like 6 times right there. Our goal here is to keep the sit bones on the ground as you find your circles, and they don't have to be super large. You might feel yourself begin to open up, and they naturally will begin to deepen as your body relaxes, and then maybe take them the other way. Just waking up the spine, finding what feels nice. Taking about one more round, one more breath. Making sure you feel nice and even in your sides. Then come back to a neutral spine. And whatever leg is kind of crossed on top, for me it's my right, the way that you normally sit in easy seat. We're going to kind of spread the legs apart a little bit, but placing these shins still on the mat. They're parallel to each other. So one leg should be in front of the other. That's it. That's all we're doing right now. And then plant the fingertips either on the leg, on the mat, and just sit up nice and tall. Big breath in. Reach up through the crown of the head. And then on your exhale, slowly walk the fingertips forward. Again, keeping the sit bones on the mat. So if you feel them begin to kind of lift off, that's when you lift off yourself. You can always dial it back. We want to feel a nice stretch, maybe in the lower back, in the spine, maybe the sides of the arms. Just notice what you feel here. One more breath to send the chest forward. And then gently walk the hands back towards the hips, keeping your legs where they are. Plant the hands behind the hips. They can be up on the fingertips or flat palms, whatever feels good to you. Taking a chest opener, inhale, send the chest forward. Really reach the shoulders back, finding space between the collarbones. Maybe allowing your head to tilt back, opening up through the throat. One more breath. And gently, carefully come back through neutral spine to switch sides. So this one might feel a little weird. Placing your other leg in front. It's like trying to sit in easy seat with the other legs crossed. It just feels unnatural, but find your position here. Settle in first. And then inhale to find length before we creep the hands forward. Noticing what's going on in the hips. See if you're holding on to tension there. And if you can, let some of it go. See if we can stop carrying the things that we no longer need to allow us to weigh us down. We don't need to be weighed down. Can try and feel as light as we can. Let those things go that no longer are doing you any good. Whatever that may be. Last breath. And then take the hands behind the bum and find your chest opener. Really press through the hands to lift the chest high towards the sky. Getting a nice little back bend in here as well. Such a nice front body opener. And then carefully lifting back up, coming through center. Lifting the knees and coming onto the knees. So uncrossing your feet, making your way to the middle of the mat. Nice tabletop. Spread wide between the fingers. Really ground down through the tops of the feet. Feel the connecting points to your mat. The palms of the hands, the tops of the feet. Find length in the spine. And then inhale, peel the left arm up. Big reach. Reach the fingertips towards the ceiling. And exhale, scoop that arm underneath the right, coming to lie on the left shoulder, really pressing away from the mat to open up space. Taking your gaze as far as feels natural. You don't want to force anything or compress the neck. This is a very active pose here. So make sure to use your breath. Finding that mind-body connection. We're fostering some of that right now. Beautiful. And on your next exhale, press back up. Inhale, reach that left arm. And exhale, return to a nice tabletop. One breath to reset. And then the right arm peels up. Our fingertips reach high for the sky. And then exhale. Big movements, thread it under. Trying to keep the hips on top of the knees, everything kind of in line here as you press away and open through the back. Exhale to press back up, finishing it out with a nice big reach. And then we meet back on all fours. Ground down through this left leg as you reach this right leg behind you, keeping the knee bent and the foot flexed. Taking care to engage your core here, keeping your hips nice and straight. Press away from the mat. And then inhale, straighten the leg, keeping the foot flexed. And exhale, bring the knee to the nose, rounding through the back. 3 of these. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, round. 1 more. Releasing the right leg down, preparing to take the left. Really spread wide between the fingers, grip, and then send that left leg behind you. Hips are square. Inhale, lengthen the back leg, and exhale, round. Finding some synchronicity with your breath. Reaching long on the in-breaths and rounding, curling on the out-breaths. Beautiful. Releasing the knee back, widening the knees as wide as the yoga mat, taking the big toes together. And you got it, melting the heart down, nice big wide child pose. Taking a few minutes here, about a minute or 2, to really focus on your breath. Coming back to breath awareness, letting yourself just gently deepen as you relax. Maybe taking this connecting, grounding posture as a moment to reflect on a challenge or an obstacle that you've overcome. especially if we're still kind of holding on to any form of resentment or expectations or anything that you're still holding on to and that can be affecting you negatively. Try to release it with your breath. Let it float away. Let it go. And then now try to bring your awareness back to the breath, sinking the hips back towards the feet. Just observe as it flows in and out, as you gently let the thoughts go, finding total body awareness. Reaching the fingertips out nice and long. Holding here for just about 2 more breaths. And when you're ready, gently pressing through the hands to lift the head and the chest, walk the hands back a few inches there. Lift the hips forward to bring the knees underneath the hips, tuck the toes, and send the hips up, coming into a downward facing dog. Take a moment here to bend each knee, kind of pedal out through the backs of the legs. Taking care to send the crown of the head forward. Ears hang between the biceps. Really working through the bottoms of the feet, the ankles, the calves. Beautiful. And then ground down through this left foot. And if any of this becomes too much, we can just hang out in a nice downward facing dog. Ground down through the left foot. Raise the right and cross it behind you. So we're coming into a little cross-legged downward facing dog. Now we'll probably be up on the balls of the feet. That's totally okay. The heels do not have to touch. In fact, they probably will not. Press away from the mat, 1 breath. Then lift that right leg back, but this time bend the knee and kind of cross it over. So you're planting the ankle right above the knee, coming into a little, kind of a little figure 4 here, helping to send that left heel down, getting a beautiful back leg stretch. And on your next out breath, release, shake out any tension back there before grounding through the right leg, picking up the left and sending it behind, crossing the ankles. Beautiful. Making sure not to lock the elbows if you have any hypermobility, really gripping through the fingers. Then release that left leg, cross it in front, coming into our little figure 4, still sending the hips up. Great. Exhale, replace the foot. Send the hips up a little bit to kind of come through a little high plank. Gaze at the hands where you can walk your hands back towards the feet. And then we slowly take a nice roll to standing. So let the fingertips just hang as you slowly unravel. And then untucking your chin in a nice mountain pose. Finding a little bit of play here with your balance. Now these are not going to be too crazy. We're doing beginner tree and a little beginner eagle pose. So this is all about connection to yourself. Control of your body, breath awareness, and mind-body connection. While we begin to play with our balance, challenge ourselves a little bit. So make sure you're connected into your core, squeezing it in, ground down through this left foot, as you take your right toes to the mat and open the knee wide. So the bottom of your foot can rest on the left ankle. Find what works for you here, but not reaching the foot up. We are merely focused on reaching the crown of the head up, finding length, standing up tall and proud and strong. We can take hands to heart center if that feels nice. Finding a focal point, gazing straight ahead, squeezing through the glutes, sending this right knee back, releasing energy from the hips, releasing emotions. And then carefully, if you need to use your hands to guide yourself, you can. Release this right foot and gently cross it over the left. Now, just finding a slight little ravel, little twist. So if your foot lands right behind your ankle, great. If we want to keep it here for a little gentle twist, totally beautiful, totally fine. Send the arms out, shoulder height. This is your practice. Remember, make it your own. Then cross the right on top, trying to find eagle arms and match palms, but if you don't reach, we can always grasp opposite shoulders as well, and then reach the shoulders or the elbows down, kind of opening up through the back. So wherever you are, meet yourself where you are today. Challenging your balance. And on this next exhale, begin to carefully unravel. Then plant the right foot and lift up the left, finding your little baby tree pose. Taking your time to get there before reaching the hands up. Anjali Mudra, hands at heart center. Breathing nice and big into the hips, into the heart. Perhaps revisiting your intention here. And whenever you are ready, we can gently lift the left leg and find your version of this little baby eagle pose. Whatever feels connecting to you. Take what you need, leave what you don't. Reaching up for your version. And on your next exhale, slowly unravel, embracing any wiggles or wobbles. Facing the front of the mat at the back if you turn to the side like I did. And gently taking the feet more than hip distance apart, about the width of your mat. Coming into a little yogi squat variation. So bend the knees, send the hips back, arms forward. So this is bear pose. We can stay here, or we can drop the fingertips down. Still reaching the chest forward. Really sinking into the glutes, firing up the quads. Take one more big breath. Then if you have the hands lifted, place the fingertips on the mat. To heel toe the feet underneath the hips, this time turning the toes out, coming into a traditional yogi squat, a malasana, garland pose. This pose has so many names. Wiggle your way in and then find stillness, using the elbows to gently open the knees. Remembering it's okay if your heels do not reach the mat. Beautiful. One more big breath before we add in some fun arm movements here. So on your next breath, open the arms wide. The left hand reaches up to the sky as you take a nice side bend. Exhale, come back through center. Inhale to reset. And exhale, right arm sweeps up. Beautiful. 2 more times each side. So find some play here. Move with your breath. Just enjoy your body. Beautiful. Coming back through center, hands to heart center. Exhale, release tension in the hips. Breathe it all out. And release the hands to the mat, coming down gently onto the sit bones, scooting to the middle of the mat here. So this is where we find our little rock and play. So if you don't want to rock and roll around on your spine, then please find something else that works for you. Maybe hanging out in a nice wind release pose, but we can take the hands underneath the knees. You can wrap them around the knees, whatever helps you kind of rock and roll it up. So we rock up to sitting, and then we let ourselves kind of go. And it doesn't matter how big these are. It's just helping to stimulate the muscles of the back, some of the organs, your digestion system, lymphatic system. Beautiful. Taking a few more, maybe finding some fun with these, some play. And meeting in staff pose whenever you would like to get there. Taking one more rock and roll around. Beautiful. Flexing the feet, sitting up nice and tall. Here we are. Really feel the connection points again, the backs of the legs on the mat. One more breath. And then carefully reach down for the right foot, bending the knee, bringing it in towards the hips, and then extend it up into the air. So if we need to grab onto the ankle or use a yoga strap, you are more than welcome to do so. Taking just about 5 of these. Preparing for a little twist. So on the next time your leg is extended, find your spot with the left hand as you peel the right back, gazing over your right shoulder. Using those abdominals. And exhale. Come back. Send your foot love before you place it back down and pick up the left. Beautiful. And making your way into your nice big twist. All right, coming back to center, releasing the left foot to plant the feet down, coming onto the back, preparing for bridge pose. Feet are hip width apart, arms lie by the sides, palms face down. Inhale, connect to the core, squeeze the glutes to send the hips up, keeping the knees directly in line over the ankles, being careful not to let them splay out. Hold here and breathe. We're holding for about 5 breaths. So really use all of your muscles to squeeze, find control, and lift up. Try to find some ease within the effort, being careful not to crunch your neck. One more breath. Really send the hips up a little bit higher if you can. And then exhale, release them back down, coming into a nice happy baby, sending the feet up into the air and just letting the knees fall to the sides. We're not done yet, so find any rocks, any rolls that you want here before we rock our way back up to standing. Or you can gently cross the feet at the ankles and make your way up into a mountain pose. So a few more breaths here. And then whenever you are ready, meeting in mountain pose. However, I tried to make it and I couldn't. That's all right. Beautiful. So we're here, and then we step the right leg back, turning to the side of the mat, coming into a little goddess flow. Come on, we can't have a nice powerful flow without goddess. So sink the hips down, toes point to the corners of the mat, knees are bent. Engage the lower body. Feeling nice and strong, building up your resilience. Holding here. And then drop this right hand down as the left reaches overhead. We can keep the elbow on the knee, or maybe we reach down towards the floor, wherever you're at today. Reaching up with the fingertips, still sinking low in the hips. And then gently release, switching sides. Keeping the chest lifted. Beautiful. Feeling the burn maybe right now. We still have one more move left in us, reaching back up to a neutral spine. Take the feet a little bit inwards more. Sink down. Inhale, reach the arms up. Try to meet palms, raveling one in front of the other. Then lift onto the ball of one foot before lifting up onto the other. So you're really squeezing your glutes here now. This is full body control, drawing the navel into the spine. Breathe. Maybe pulse it out. Beautiful. Last breath. Sink a little bit lower. Then inhale, straighten everything. Release the heels. Lower the hands. Turn to the front of the mat. Over the left foot. Come down and through a warrior's lunge. A runner's lunge. Why am I saying warrior's lunge? Runner's lunge. To drop the back knee. Slowly make your way into pigeon pose, creeping that foot over to the edge of the mat. All right, shimmy and shake your way in. Then sit up nice and tall, fingertips reach in front. Ground down through that left knee. As you're active in the back leg, it reaches behind you. And we can stay here, or we can begin to lower the chest, maybe coming onto the forearms, maybe coming onto the forehead. Your version today. No judgments allowed. Taking a few breaths here. Tuning out distractions, letting your thoughts come and go. Breathing into the hips. And we have an optional quadricep stretch if we want to reach the chest up and kick this back ankle up. We can reach for it, pull it into the hips. Finding a nice front of the thigh stretch. I love those nice quadricep stretch, way to my heart. And you can always take king pigeon or mermaid, any other variations here that suit your needs today. But remember to not force yourself. It's no competition. And we find about one last breath before releasing your lovely foot, coming up onto the toes, through in a little runner's lunge, making your way into the middle of the mat. One more squat. Perhaps noticing you feel a little bit more open now, whether mentally or physically. Take 2 breaths. Connect back home. Recenter. Before gently turning to the back of the mat, coming over this right leg, making your way in through your runner's lunge, not your warrior lunge, before dropping the back knee and slowly transitioning into our pigeon pose. Making sure the hips are square, sinking down into the hips, really pressing them down into the mat. Hips meet earth here. Fingertips come in front. Take your time getting to where you were on the other side. We try to balance ourselves out, but sometimes we're not so even. Sometimes we need a little bit more love in one area than another, and that body awareness comes with time, with practice, with consistency, you getting to know yourself and how you feel. Nice, even breaths. And finding your last breath here in stillness before gently reaching up. If you are taking your optional quadricep stretch here. And then I want you to think about where you are right now. Think about all of the things that led you to where you are right now, all of the challenges, trials, and tribulations that you have conquered on your journey to this very moment. And I want you to hopefully send yourself some love for being so strong through all of these things. And on your next exhale, release your back leg, untuck, meeting knees together, coming into a little child pose, keeping the chest lifted up, just reaching the fingertips out. And we can stay here for a little Shavasana. We can roll over into corpse pose, or maybe we want to try things a little bit differently today and really, really hug the earth. Finding either Sphinx pose or crocodile pose by making a little pillow with your forearms, finding length in the spine, and just really connecting. So a few minutes here to be with your breath. See if there's anything else you are craving before we end this practice together. Revisiting your intention. Allowing the breath to draw you back in to the now.
No longer thinking of yesterday and not worrying about what's to come, what hasn't happened yet. Finding some gratitude for this spot that you're in, this space, and all that it took for you to arrive here.
And staying in your final resting pose for as long as you need to. But I do want to let you know that this video will end and I'm not sure what we'll be playing next. So if you need to pause me, continue connecting to yourself. And I just want to take this moment to thank you so much for joining me on the mat and allowing me to be your guide in mind and body for this yoga practice, dealing with and cultivating the root chakra, opening up and releasing. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to be subscribed so you don't miss any more daily yoga with Paige. And I look forward to the next time that we meet. Have a blessed rest of your day.